My gorgeous flowers, and welcome back to an M's in Context video. I know it's been a while. It has in fact been approximately 9 months since I uploaded my last video, and a lot of things have changed since then. I have a new position at work. I am in a different role. I'm no longer a youth worker, which I didn't think would ever happen. I started youth work when I was 15 years old. I was a volunteer at my local youth group, an emerging leader, and eventually ended up taking it over. And I loved it for so long. And eventually I think I just fell out of love with it, which happens. And it's not anything that anyone else did. It's not because I didn't love the young people I was working with. It's just that I really needed some more time for myself, and I had lost the passion for it. Youth work has definitely gotten a lot harder over the last few years. So I'm now in a fantastic role. I get to work with all ages of the community. I am outside a lot. A lot of my projects get me involved in rivers and invasive species removal and gardening and teaching people recipes and cooking and showing families how to come together and grow food. And it's just wonderful. Okay, it's just a wonderful job, and I have been in that now for 7 months, which honestly, it doesn't feel that long. It feels like I've been there for 5 minutes, but it has already made such a difference. I have my evenings back. I get to spend more time with Luke. I have, in the last 7 months, ran a half marathon, which is something I would definitely not have had time for before. I've also picked up reading again, which, as you can see, I have a lot of books to read. So it's very important that I can get my reading done. And I just feel more myself. I feel more organized. I feel mentally so much healthier. Physically, I'm doing a lot healthier as well. As you know, I've said, I'm running again, I'm working out again, I'm moving my body and doing yoga, all of the things that are good for me, but also help me to be more balanced and feel like I've definitely got both my feet planted on the ground. So a lot has changed. It's been a wonderful 7 months, and so it's kind of time. Like, I feel like it's time to get back into vlogging, and my main aim for this is not to force myself into being consistent. And what I mean by that is, of course, I would love to post regularly, and I would like to at least post every couple of weeks. I think that's something that is manageable for me at the moment. Would I like to be posting weekly? Absolutely, but I don't know if that's doable. And the reason why is because I want to be realistic, and I want to be authentic when I'm making these videos. I don't want to be rushing around trying to get a video done just because I have to get one out there. I want you guys to feel like this is the truth. This is me. For example, today it's currently 5 o'clock in the I don't know if you class 5 o'clock as being the afternoon or the evening. I feel like I class it as like aftering or even noon. I'm just so sorry. It's like midway. It's not afternoon, it's not quite evening. But I finished work at 4 o'clock today. And so I've just been prepping to kind of do this video. And I've got time to do it, and I've got 5 days off now as well, so I've got time to edit it, I've got time to do my other hobbies, I can go for a run, and I can just enjoy this time chatting with you, and and being myself. I don't want to have to just shove a video in there because I've got like 10 minutes to rush through. So today on the agenda, this is the Hollow, which is my office, and it's had a facelift. So if you go back through my other videos, I probably do have a video where my old like office setup is in it. It's probably moved at least twice since then. I love to move furniture around. It is the way I clear my brain. It's the way I feel like renewed and refreshed. Like most people go and get a hair dye and do that, which I have absolutely done in the past, no shade. But I love to move a space around, to revamp it, to revamp myself, to feel, at the time I hate it. Like I've moved stuff in the past and I've gotten halfway through and gone, why have I done this? Oh my God, it's the biggest mistake of my life. But when I'm done and when it looks like this, it's fantastic. So I'm going to give you a little tour. I'm going to try not to get too chatty about it. No promises. And then I'm going to show you guys some of the books that I've read this year for 2025. I have a reading goal this year to read 50 books before the end of the year. We're currently on 9. I've got some catching up to do. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck reading 20 books a month for the last 6 months of the year. Oh, no, that's not right. That would be 100 books. Maths. It's not here today. The maths is not in my brain today. But yeah, so we need to get on with some reading. But that's fine because I've got more than enough books to do that. So I'm going to definitely share with you some of my reviews of the books that I've read so far. And then I'm also going to show you some of the books that I've recently bought because I very luckily had a birthday last month and got some vouchers for Waterstones. I got a voucher for the works. So I've just been kind of like spending those vouchers ever so slowly, just collecting some of the books that I've seen or heard of and really liked. Don't really know a lot about them, but I wanted to share them anyway. So where we are right now, you are looking at my bookshelf behind me. I'm sat on my desk chair. You are sat on my desk by my brand new, built by me computer, which I'm very excited about, and I will show you in just a second. A little backstory behind that. So my husband has pretty much always built his computers. I had his old, not built by him computer, it was an Alienware one, and it worked perfectly until the operating system got out of date. So they kind of like go out of date every, I think that one was like a 10-year one. And unfortunately, like if I wanted to upgrade it, it would have just taken up like it wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have happened. I don't really know the specifics, like the ins and outs of it, but it would not have happened. So for Christmas, I had asked, please could I have money for Christmas because then I can buy parts to build my own computer. And I had a vision, and the vision, it's been made a reality. Let me see if, ooh, you're on a tripod, so I'm hoping, oh yeah, you can kind of see it. There she is. So this is my computer, and as you can see, she has a lot of lights. There is meant to be, so there is a light here as well, but she doesn't really come on. The connection's a little bit loose, and that's something that I need to fix. I need to get in there and fix her. But she's gorgeous, and I really wanted her to be white. So she's very much based on aesthetics and storage because obviously vlogging takes up a lot of memory. So yeah, she's got pretty lights. She's gorgeous. She sits there quietly humming away. And I play a lot of games. I play Sims and I play League of Legends. There's a few other games that I want to try and get onto play on my computer. They're things that have been recommended through other YouTubers, like Cozy K. She is an amazing YouTuber. Absolutely love her. And she shares so much about like the games that she plays, and they always seem so incredible and so up my street. So I'm very much into that cozy gaming. And then if I really want a bit of violence, I can go back to League of Legends. And I have recently gotten some new champions as well on League of Legends. So I've been like dabbling. I used to play League of Legends. I've played it for a long time, but really on and off. And because I haven't had a proper computer for ages that would actually support me playing League of Legends, it's been a while. I'm definitely out of touch with it. So I'm just kind of like regaining the skills, and me and Luke are actually going to do a little like, he's going to do me some training classes. So he's going to sit with me while I play and kind of coach me through. Because I'm not always 100% on like how to play the characters. And I got like Volley Bear recently, and he's so cute. But I don't know how to play him, and I don't know which characters he's best against. So it's all those kind of things. It's like the statistical kind of side of it. But yeah, I would really like to play where I could actually like win, but also like I do win quite a lot with the teams that I get put in. But I would really like to contribute a lot to those teams and not be so rubbish, basically. So that's my computer, and I'm so beyond happy with it. And if you are looking to get into gaming, I would 100% recommend building your own computer. I think it just adds that really lush personal touch to it. And I have seen them where they put like little bits inside the case. So you can't tell from here, but the glass panels, they come off, and you could put stuff inside if you wanted to. Now I have seen them with stuff inside. I don't know if that affects the kind of the airflow, but maybe I'll try it and we'll see. So yeah, and then, oh look, this is perfect because I can talk to you while you see like the setup behind me. In January, I was desperate for a reading chair. Now, you might have seen it before. I did have a blue chair up here at one point. I did have some cream chairs with like wooden arms, which we've still got. We've not got the blue one, but we do have the wooden chair arms, and they're downstairs in our living room because they actually create like a really lush conversational space in our living room. When we have guests over, we've had a couple of parties. We had a New Year's party, and we had a little party for my birthday, and they're so good because everyone can gather around together in our living room. We've played games, and it's been perfect. But I needed something for up here because I really love to have that like cozy reading nook area where on a rainy, and let's be honest, sunny afternoon, I can really just snuggle in, get a big mug of tea, a big bowl of tea or hot chocolate or a Pepsi, and I can just get in my chair, sink in and read some good material. It has been a long time coming, and I never thought that I would find the perfect chair. Like I'd looked at so many things, and I'd looked at moon chairs because they look so like you seep into it, you know, you like really like get in there. And then I came across this one, and this I was browsing the DFS website, and I came across it, and I am a cream girl at heart. I'm a natural wood and cream girl, and I am experimenting with colours like elsewhere in our home. Like it's a big step for me to have like my books like this, because in the past I have had them turned around. But I'm loving colour, okay? I promise. I know it doesn't look like it today, but I am loving colour. And I'm experimenting, okay? I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So I saw this, I did come across this, and I was like, nope, she's perfect. And went to see her in store because I do think, like, after we bought our first sofa for this house, we had to buy it online because it was COVID. There was no way for us to actually go and test sofas. But it came and it was rock solid. Like it was, you could just jump on that a million times over and it would not soften up. So I was like, no, I have to go and see it before I get it because I don't want to make that mistake. Went and checked her out, sat down immediately, was like, oh yes, no, she's right. It's huge. I don't know if it looks huge from the picture, but let me go and sit. Like I could have Luke come and sit here with me, and Luna could come and sit with us, and I could have friends over and we could have our feet up on the puff, and we can read together. Jodie, I'm looking at you, girl. And, you know, it's just such a good space. And it's really cute. And it's just so nice to have a reading chair. It's been a little bit of a dream of mine for many, many years to have a reading chair. And I feel like this room has probably taken the longest time out of all our spaces to come together. So it's just really nice, guys. I'm just so happy. I feel so lucky. So I've got my reading chair by the window because I really wanted that natural light. I've then got this lovely mirror, which unfortunately, when it came with a crack in it. And you can't see it because I have strategically placed the crack in the bottom corner. But there is a way to fix it. Luke has looked up online, and apparently there's like a little kit that you can get that you can fix it with. So it's fine. It's going to be sorted. So yeah, we're in progressing that. And then it will eventually go up on the wall. I'm going to get some more blankets. My little footstool is from Asda. Absolutely love Asda Home or George Home homeware. And it is a storage footstool as well. So you can lift that up, put blankets in, put pillows in, etc. And I would really like to get a little side table for the chair as well, because at the moment I'm having to put drinks down and pick them up, or like get out of my chair to put drinks down. And I realise that that's such a first world problem, but when you're like properly sunk into a chair and you don't want to get up, you don't want to move, you just kind of like want to pick up your drink, you know, and that's just what I'd like. And then we've just got my bookcase, the one at the back, and then we go straight into all the other bookcases which you saw behind me. So maybe let's do those next, right? Let's have a look at the bookcases. This is my fantasy book collection, and obviously I have a lot of it. So let me just talk you through the kind of vibe we're going for. So the bottom shelf and the second shelf are fantasy series from, I want to say my childhood, but it's not really childhood, teenagehood. We have a Harry Potter shelf, which some of which I'm conflicted on keeping at the moment, just because of the things that are being shared online by a particular author, and I find it really conflicting because I grew up with Harry Potter as a world, and it always felt very safe and inclusive to me. And I know that a lot of people, particularly in the trans community, are also feeling very conflicted because they feel that Harry Potter as a universe is very inclusive, and they feel safe in that universe, but not with the author. And everyone will have their opinions. My current opinion is that I want to stay sensitive around this topic, and that's because I would like to be seen as an LGBTQ plus ally. And I think that it's good to recognise that although I don't like the author of the Harry Potter series, I do like Harry Potter. I grew up with it. It forms a part of my childhood. It forms a big part of how I felt love in the past. And it's a big thing I share with my best friend, Jodie, and a lot of my other friends as well, who love it equally as much as I do. So I think I will keep my original set. They're not the original set that I did have when I was a young girl. Unfortunately, they got destroyed in a garage leak when we moved. But I do have the set that my stepdad brought me, a special edition set, which actually I will show you because they're really beautiful. And let me just get one of them out because I don't want to have to ruin the whole shelf. But they came like this with all different colours on the binding edge, and then they all have the different illustration on the front. So they're stunning, okay? And I will be keeping those because I think it's important to have those as they're special to me, but they're also a part of history. The other ones I have, they are the Mina Lima version and the Jim Kay illustrations. Those I am a bit more up in the air about because they have both as separate separate companies decided not to continue producing these illustrations. So I think we were up to maybe the third or fourth one on the Mina Lima, and maybe even the fourth or fifth on the Jim K. And unfortunately, they're not continuing, so I'm not sure I see the point in keeping the first ones. Whether I'll sell them or whether I'll donate them, I'm not sure yet, but someone else might find a lot of joy out of them. We'll see. And then we have Twilight and the first 4 books of the Game of Thrones. I'm trying to find them in charity shops. I found the first, so I got the first 2 as Christmas gifts, I think, when I was a teenager, and then found the others in, it's 4 or 5 that I've got. It might be 5 actually. I think I found the next 3 in charity shops. So then we've just got like random fantasy books. I've got some witchy, spelly books. That almost sounded like I said smelly books. They're spell-y books, spelly books. Some of the kind of like Grecian-esque books. So like Ariadne and Songs of Achilles, Medusa. Oh my God, this song is getting on my nerves. Hope you like my song. Apologies, everyone. I have 2 batteries for my camera. The first one I actually got with the camera, and I absolutely destroyed it by overcharging it. So when you have technology and they tell you to fully charge it before you use it, do that because it charges it up to its full capacity. And then you take it off charge because otherwise it ruins it, it fries the battery, and you're screwed. Okay, so that one's now charging. I've got my other one in there, which also is equally as bad. So we're going to see how far we get with this one. Moving into the TikTok famous fantasy books. So these ones you probably will have heard of. We've got The Fourth Wings, we've got Crescent City, Throne of Glass. I've started collecting these. This is the first one, and I know that they come in paperback, but the covers of the hardbacks, they're amazing. Okay? They are so cool, and I just love this style of art. Trying to see if it says who the illustrator is. Oh, jacket design, Jim Tierney. Well, Jim, good work. Yeah, absolutely not read them, but would absolutely love to collect the series and read them. And then we have my like special edition books that I got in my Illumicrate parcels. I have stopped getting them now, and it's because I had the like dual bundle where you got the book and then you got like knick-knacky bits that kind of complement the book. And I'll be honest, some of the stuff I did like, but a lot of it I didn't. And found it very much like tat, which I think, you know, I've seen a lot of people reselling the bits on Vinted because it's obviously like people just don't want it. And it just doesn't have very good quality value things. And of course, I could just get the boxes with the books. But another part of that is, and this is on me, this bit. I don't think these are my kind of books. And I could be wrong. I haven't read them. And I realise I'm going to say that a lot about my books, but one of my hobbies is buying books. So I have a lot of books that I haven't read. But these illustrations are beautiful, despite the fact that they might not be for me. So this is my favourite one, Mistress of Lies. And look, oh, so pretty, so pretty. Like, there's a lot of thought and care that went into these books. And I know there are other book subscriptions out there. I haven't gotten around to kind of having a look. And I think probably what I wanted more of was the more romantic style book subscription, and Illumicrate don't offer that. So yeah, it's not for me, and that's fine. I gave it a really good go, but I would recommend it if you want to get into lesser known fantasies. Have some books that are absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, you do you, boo. Then we go up a level. I have the first 2 Rivers of London books, which I think has now over like 13 different books in the series. We then have the Noughts and Crosses series. I've read the first one. I've got the second one, not read it. Absolutely fantastic book. Really really helped me understand the Black perspective, which is something that I'm always kind of looking to do. So if you are also looking for that as a white person or as a non-Black person, highly recommend. We then have a book that I picked up fairly recently in Tesco, which is Our Infinite Fates. And I loved the sound of this. Like, it is a kind of enemies who are lovers book. And let me read you. You know what? I could clip this mic to my jacket, but I actually just really like making my life difficult. The ribbon binding their wrists together was red as a wound. Evelyn has lived countless lives, and in every single one she's been killed before her 18th birthday. But in her present life, her little sister needs her in order to stay alive. To save her sister and make it past her 18th birthday, she'll have to 1. Find the centuries-old enemy who hunts her through each life. 2. Figure out why she's being hunted so that she can break the curse once and for all. Most importantly, she's going to have to try not to fall in love with them again. So whoever's hunting her, that's her lover. And it stood out because, one, it's got this gorgeous red, I can't remember what you call this book. This bit of the book. And the cover is stunning as well. I don't know, like, that's the inside. Oh, so cool. It kind of, ooh. I've not seen that. I love you, and I have loved you, and I will love you until we meet again. That's sick! Oh my god. Okay, sorry, I'm so excited now. Right, that's going to be like top of the TBR for the next fantasy read. So much effort went into that. Stunning. I really like this inner cover, and I think I like it because it really reminds me of a Lush bath bomb. Okay, going back to the books. I told you I wouldn't get chatty, and look at me, I'm chatty. I'm so chatty. We then have, which I also got for my birthday, the Magnolia Park's first book of the series. Now, this is the paperback, and when I say it's a paperback, people are like, oh my gosh, is it really? I promise you, it's a paperback. But when I hold it up next to a normal paperback, it is huge. But I really like that about it. I like it. I think it's a bit different. And I really like these covers. So that's why I didn't get the hardbacks, because I think these are the beautiful kind of ugly. Unique and creative and special. And I have heard that these books are super toxic. But by the third book, apparently you start to love them. And I realise that that's a lot of book to read before you love something, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. They're pretty books. They're going to sit on my bookcases and they're going to look stunning. We've then got Stephanie Garber, the kind of Once Upon a Broken Heart series, Ray Bearer, the House Moving Castle series, which I got for Christmas. And if you know me, you know that I absolutely love the Studio Ghibli films. They are my safe films. If you don't know what that means, for someone who's not neurodivergent, like the best way I would describe it is like, how would I describe it to a non-neurodivergent person? You know that feeling when you're a kid and you fall over and you scrape your knee and you like immediately want your mum or a parent? That's the feeling like I get when I want to feel safe. Like when I'm sad or when I'm low, or like when something has happened and I need something comforting, I go to Studio Ghibli, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be House Moving Castle. That story is stunning. It is wonderful to see Sophie, who's the main character, just really come into her own, and I feel like as a character she's my favourite character because I think my story, my life is really, really quite reflected in her story. And I get a lot of power from that, and I get a lot of safety and peace from that. And it's definitely a film that I could probably quote off by heart. It's not really, it's not like inspiring in the way that it has like quotes, but it's what happens to her and how she kind of becomes that person. And I think like my journey over the last 7 months with my new role has really like been that for me. So I'm transformed, but you know, all jokes aside, I absolutely love House Moving Castle, and I've never read the books, so that's why I've got them now. And then at the top, we've got the Caraval series, which, as you know, I read last year and finished. The Witcher series, which I started collecting. I have read The Last Wish, which I think are prequels, I think. And then I have started collecting the Sarah J. Maas A Court of Thorns and Roses. And then we have one of my favourite ever series that I've been reading since I was a teenager, and that is the Skullduggery Pleasant series. There are so many books in this series now, like that also goes above 13 books. But again, I'm slowly collecting them. I found a bunch of them in the charity shop, and we're going to keep going with it because I just really like them. I've never read the full series, and I probably will go back and start from the beginning. But yeah, absolutely love. So let's head over to this one now. I will get this right. Okay, so this smaller bookshelf here, I would really like to get another one of these and put it here. Don't tell Luke. So we have crime here, and Christmas, because Christmas and crime, they go together, hand in hand, obviously. So I've got the Richard Osman, The Thursday Murder Club. A couple of the books up here I am really excited to read, so I'll get 2 of them down and show you. So me and Luke went on a holiday at Christmas to go to the Christmas markets in York, and York has some of the most amazing bookshops, okay? Like, one of the days, I think it was the day we were going home actually, and I said to Luke, I was like, please, can we go round the bookshops? Because not that I need any more books, but I really wanted to just have a look in them. And obviously I bought books while we were there, naturally. So one of the bookshops we went into was a crime only bookshop. Like all it did was crime books. And honestly, I never thought that you would be able to fill a shop with just crime books. But then look at this. Look at this room. Like there's so many like just fantasy books. You could have just Anyway, I talk too much. This book, A Tempest of Tea, caught my eye. I think it's the cover. It kind of gives me old London vibes. But it says her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse-bound night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when the tea room and its secrets come under threat, Arthur must lead a gang of outcasts in a high-stakes heist to the sinister vampire underworld. I don't know why I've put this in crime when it's very obviously a fantasy book. There is more, but even as unexpected romances blossom, Arthur realizes that not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and she soon finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. Dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy, A Tempest of Tea is teeming with romance and revenge, led by an orphan girl willing to do whatever it takes to save her self-made kingdom. I think maybe because it's that like orphan girl, the way she looks, like it gave me Oliver vibes. Consider yourself at home. Consider yourself what part of the furniture. Anyway, so it's going back in crime for now, but obviously it needs to go in fantasy. The next book, this bookshop, it was beautifully messy. Like, beautiful chaos, like in the sense of like, it's exactly what I needed it to be. And this was in the LGBTQ plus bookshop. I will put the bookshops in the description, but I if I can, I'll try and insert pictures because I did take pictures of the front of them. Okay, so I will share like the crime one and I will share the LGBT one. And there were some other bookshops I went into as well, which I will maybe share pictures of, maybe here and here. But I picked up this one in the LGBTQ plus bookshop, and it's called Desert Echoes. And I don't know why it called to me. There was just something special about it, so I got it. And the blurb on this one says, 15-year-old Cam is head over heels for Ash, the boy who swept him off his feet. But his family and best friend Bodhi are worried. They struggle to understand Ash. He also has a habit of disappearing, at times for days. When Ash asks Cam to join him on a trip to Joshua Tree, the two of them walk off into the sunset, but only Cam returns. 2 years later, Cam is still left with a hole in his heart and too many unanswered questions. So it feels like fate when a school trip takes him back to Joshua Tree. In the desert, Cam must reckon with the truth of his past relationship and the possibility of opening himself up to love once again. I like a little bit of a mystery, and that's probably why I put it in crime, because it seems mysterious. Maybe it's not quite crime in the sense of like murder and things like that, but I don't know because I've not read it. So we'll put that back. Here we have probably, considering it's my favourite section, it's not that big. Luke will look back at this and he'll be like, are you kidding me? You have more books than I could read in a lifetime. And I'll be like, yes, honey, but I need more. We have self-help books down the bottom around my TV. Some more self-help books here, and kind of dotted around up here as well. These are all self-help, so it's not all romantic. All self-help, and then poetry, because I'm really getting into it. I'm loving it. And some classics, which are probably romantic, and then we've got books that I've read. So these are kind of a combination of genres, I would say. You've got some just like regular fiction. I don't know what you'd call that as a genre, but like normal fiction. We've got The Midnight Library, which is kind of like dabbles in that fantasy thing. Remarkably Bright Creatures, such a gorgeous book. Please read it. You Are Here, which is one of the books I'm going to talk you through that I've read and I've reviewed on Fable. Amazing app. So yeah, these are like books I've read. These are not the only ones I've read. They're just ones that don't fit anywhere else. Or like, I don't want to put them elsewhere. I want them to be together. Then we've got my Colleen Hoover books, which I would really like to expand on. I have read a fair amount of these, but I'd like to read more. Elsie Silver books are from the series I've just read, and I'm still completing the last book. I've kind of taken a little break from it. We've then got the Hannah Grace books. What series is this? No, it doesn't say, but they are part of a series. So Icebreaker I've read, really great. Wildfire and Daydream. And Icebreaker is one of the ones I've read recently. So I will talk you through that one too. I've got some new Emily Henry books. I've got Book Lovers and one over there, which I've put in a pile to kind of show you. And then the Wild series. So I've got Wild Love, Wild Eyes and Wild Side. Also Elsie Silver, a lot of Tessa Bailey, and then I've got Ali Hazelwood up here, which I absolutely adored. The Love Hypothesis. I was hooked on that book, and it probably took me less than a day to read that book, if I'm being honest. So of course I've gotten Bride, Deep End, and then another book to show you, which is the Not in Love one. There's just random kind of books up here. Like, they are a mixture of romance and just, like I said, normal fiction. And I guess what I mean by that is that like they're more realistic. They're more like true life. And then over on this bookcase, a little swivel. On this one, I've got my Japanese translation books. Recently read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, a beautifully written book. As I said, all the self-help books, and then some more romantasy. No, I keep going to say romantasy. It's not. It's romance books. And then on the final shelf over here, which is kind of, it's not blocked off by my desk because around this shelf is where the books stop, unless they're ones that I don't want to see. And underneath that is a mess, so you're not going to see that. Lucky you. And then I've got up here is my. Oh, what are they? gardening. They're gardening. They're outdoory books. So I've got like my bee book, The Healthy Garden, The Complete Gardener's Manual, The Encyclopedia of Plants and Flowers, which I almost bought a second copy of the other day. Would you believe it? Don't do that. And then I've got my kind of geography books, actually, because I am really interested in geography just as a general topic. So I do have them. And then up here, I've got my witchy books. So those are my bookcases. So I am sat on the floor because it's very comfortable. And sometimes I feel more grounded when I'm on the floor. I don't know if you feel that way. So we've got Ali Hazelwood, Not in Love. I don't know why I picked this one specifically, but I've heard very good things. And after reading The Love Hypothesis, it was just something, you know, we're talking about women in STEM. We're talking about like, it's just a bit of an alternative setting to what I'm used to with a lot of romantic books. I've also got You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. So this is like what I call a typical romance book. You know, it's a typical context for it. Again, nothing wrong with that. And I'm very much, I think this is like an enemies to lovers. Yeah. Enemies to lovers. And I don't really know what happens in the end. And that's the idea, isn't it? Sometimes the things I say, I don't understand why I say them. Don't we all feel like that sometimes? But yeah, so I picked up this one too. We then go into the, I know that this has written, so this is the Rose Hill series. I said Wild series earlier, but it's the Rose Hill series. And this is the first one. This has come highly recommended from Jodie. She's read all the Elsie Silver books. She is absolutely obsessed, and it's completely her fault that I've had to buy yet more books because she's completely got me tempted. And you know what? It's actually such a joy to be able to say that Jodie is getting me into books, because there was a time when I would say to her, "Oh my gosh, I read this amazing book." She'd be like, "Oh, it's a book," and like she just didn't read, but now she reads. And I love it because there's books that I can recommend to her, and like I now don't have to be alone. I also have a friend called Lottie who also reads, and she also reads a ton of spicy books too. So often we're like absolutely laughing our heads off about the books that we're reading. And we read through, I think, the first Elsie Silver book together. And I read through it in like 2 days. And I think she was really shocked. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to catch up." I was like, "Yeah, sorry." But yeah, so the three of us, like, although they haven't met yet, like I chat to both of them about the books I'm reading, and I know that they would get along because, well, they're into the same books. So there you go. So this is First Time Caller. This just seemed like a really cute storyline. I really like the kind of book where it's like a bit of self-discovery for the characters and a little bit of like inspiration for life, those kind of things. I also really like that after having flicked through it, you get the snippets of like when they're on air and when they're talking on air. And I just like that. I find that really unique, and I'm hoping that the difference in context in that is interesting and just a really good experience in general. Then I've also picked up 2 Coco Mellor's books. I've heard some fantastic things about this author, and I've not read any of her books yet, but I've picked up Blue Sisters and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. The Blue Sisters one, I know, is quite a sad book. It reminds me of a book that I read for my book club last year, which was, it's Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And it's a really stunning book, really well written, really sad in how the story kind of like the character stories fall apart, but it also kind of comes back together at the end. But I think Blue Sisters is going to be really similar to that book. Maybe it's, I don't know, like I know this book is going to make me cry, but that's okay. Like I don't mind books like that. And I'm looking forward to reading that. And then Cleopatra and Frankenstein is a bit more of a love story. I wouldn't say it's a love story, but I think it's going to be an interesting read. It's kind of impulsive marriage. and we'll see how that changes their lives, how it changes the lives of people around them. I'm very sorry, everyone. I'm taking a break because the ice cream man came down our road and Luke bought me an ice cream. So hopefully my throat's feeling really sore after talking to the camera for a long time. I don't know why I just looked, because I've just set it to record again. It's like 20 seconds. So yeah, I'm going to go and enjoy this, and then I'm going to come back and tell you all about the books that I have read so far this year and what my reviews and whether I would recommend them or not. So I will see you in a little bit. Ice cream. And it is a couple of days later, and that's because we really enjoyed ice cream, took the dog for a walk, and when I got back home it was a bit too dark in here to be filming or trying to film with natural light. So I just decided, nah, I'm not going to try, I'm not going to bother. I don't love the lighting in here, and it's just not as pretty as I would like it to be. I do have a ring light, but I've not really tested it out with this camera, so in future we will give it a go. But I just felt like, nah, we'll move it to another day and kind of not push it through. So I'm back to show you the books I have started reading so far this year, or the books I have read and completed so far this year. And I realised I said I've only read 9 books, but that's based off of what I've been tracking on the Fable app, which I've been using to track all of my reads this year and do reviews and things. I have used Goodreads in the past, but don't love it. I think it's a little bit less user-friendly. Not a bad app, but much prefer Fable. It's not Fabled. Fable is much prettier. You get streaks for how many days in a row you've been reading, and you get little reader summaries. So mine is heartfelt thriller. You mix love and peril with your reading, warming yourself with a cup of hometown charm. These stories nurture an open and fearless heart. And I'm like, oh, thanks. So it feels good, and you can personalize it in a way. You can have like different colors and things like that. So I have been tracking it on there, and I realized actually that I haven't put all of the books on there because I've read 4 out of the 5 Chestnut Springs series of the Elsie Silver books, and I think I've only got 3 on there. So maybe I'm up to 10 now. Maybe. So I'm here to show you the books that I have read, and the first one is from that series, from the Elsie Silver series. I've picked this one because it's my favourite of the series. This is the one with Bo. No, Bo's the one I'm reading now. This is the one with Cade and Willa, and absolutely love Willa as a character. I think I might have reviewed this book at a 5 out of 5, but let's get it up on Fable and see what it was. Here we go. Yeah, 5 out of 5. I've said Willa is probably one of my favourite characters. I love the strong women Elsie Silver portrays in her books. I find each of them incredibly inspiring. So, love the book. I love the series. I have slowed down with it a little bit towards the end. I think because Elsie Silver has built up Bo, who is the last brother in the book, to be really grumpy, and he's in a tough spot. He's not been doing very well. I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah, he's not in a good place, and so it's kind of made him a little bit less accessible as a character, which I love. I think it's great, but it also means that because I've been just reading that series, I just need a little bit of a palate cleanser before going back into it. So I'm currently reading Sirens and the second book of the Thursday Murder Club, which is The Man Who Died Twice. And I'm just getting into both of those. So I'm going to read both of those first. One of them's for my book club, and the other one's just for fun. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I go back. I will go back to the last one because I do want to finish the series, and I would also love them. I'd love Elsie to write a book on Harvey, which is the dad. I think he deserves a story. He is incredible. What a man. The next book that I finished, or the next book that's in my pile anyway. Sorry, I'm just going to get a bit more comfortable. Is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I did mention this earlier. I want to preface this review by saying that I would not read this book again. And that's because I think once you've read it, you understand it. There's not much to go back to. It's not a thrilling book. It's not something that kind of keeps you latched on. For me personally, other people might feel differently. But what I would like is to see it performed on stage. I think it would be an absolutely fantastic book to see on stage, whether it be a small theatre or a large production. I think it would be just fantastic. And the review that I gave that one, when did I read that? 3.5 stars. This book is a comforting hug. It's slow and beautiful and even painful at points. It reflects the reality of life perfectly, and I would love to see it performed on stage to truly get a feel for each character. An amazing book, and I really like a book that can be inspiring and has a life lesson for you in it, which I feel that Toshikazu has done incredibly well as an author, and I will be going out to get his other books as well. But I would highly recommend reading it, even if I don't read it again myself. But I will be keeping that book. So next book on the pile is Icebreaker. Again, this is part of a series. This is a series by Hannah Grace. I loved this book. I think I got through this in probably, I don't know if I read it in a day. I think I probably read it over a weekend. But it really took me back to my early 20s and being at university and having that kind of, it is a spicy book. But I love Anastasia. I think she is a fantastic character. She's fiery. She kind of goes after what she wants. And although she gets a little bit lost on the way, it's amazing to see her connect with so many different people and find her strength through that and find out more about herself and kind of get herself back on track through that. Again, brilliant book. And I do have up here the next two of that series. I can't for the life of me remember what that series is called, unfortunately, but Icebreaker, Hannah Grace, that's the first one. The next book I have was one of my book club books from last year. I finished this late December, so I guess I can't really count it as a this year book, but I wanted to share it with you guys anyway. So this is You Are Here by David Nichols. This is another one of those books, actually. It's very similar to Before the Coffee Gets Cold, where it's not thrilling. It's not really, it doesn't give you very much adrenaline, but I loved it because it felt so comforting. And there's a lot of nature and natural scenery in it, and it's so well described. It's about two people actually who end up going on the coast to coast walk, which goes across the Yorkshire moors. And I think after reading about it and after being immersed in the story, I would absolutely love to go and do this walk myself. I think it would be incredible. And David Nichols has just written this book so incredibly well. He has so many other books too, which I have heard are fantastic. So I think he's definitely an author that I could continue to read. The chapters are also really short. And when I say really short, they're like 1 or 2 pages. So it's very easy to get carried away and just keep going, because I'm very much I'll just read one more chapter, but I'll count the pages in the chapter first. But that is another one I would recommend you read. It's not fantasy. It's not particularly romantic. It has got elements of like relationships in it. But it's not really until the very end where there's a hint of something might happen in the future, not that it would happen right there and then at the end of the book. And then the final book that I wanted to share with you that I have read fairly recently, finished fairly recently, and that is Piglet. I picked it up in Waterstones because it has donuts on the cover, and so I read the blurb. Let me read it to you. For Piglet, marrying Kit is her opportunity to reinvent. Then, 2 weeks before they're set to get married, Kit confesses a horrible betrayal, cracking the facade Piglet has so carefully created. The couple decides to move forward with the wedding as planned, but as the hours count down, Piglet is torn between a desire to follow the recipe and follow the rules, or to ask what happiness looks like and what it costs. Surely with her husband, she could be herself again. Wouldn't it be a waste for everything to curdle now? And what I loved about this book was it is 100% linked to realistic happenings. I can't think of a better word than that. I was able to kind of link it to experiences that I have had personally in my own life, but also through other people's experiences. And maybe not everyone feels this way, but as a close friend of a lot of girls, I feel immensely protective over them when it comes to men treating them right. And in this book, you don't actually know what he's done to betray Piglet. And my automatic assumption is he's cheated. And I know a few people who have been cheated on. I've been cheated on in the past by an ex. And your immediate reaction as that person is to go get away from them. As a friend, is to be like, get away, don't go near them. They don't know how incredible you are. They don't treat you right. And it's easy on the outside of that situation to be like, why put yourself there? But when you're in the situation, it's very difficult to let go of so much. And what Piglet is struggling with is it's 2 weeks before their wedding day. How on earth does she navigate this situation? And I kind of tried to put myself in her shoes. Obviously now we're married, me and Luke. And I kind of tried to imagine, like, if Luke had told me 2 weeks before our wedding, I've done something to betray you, whether that would be cheating or something else, I would be in such a chaotic frame of mind, because in one sense I have spent so long in this relationship, building this relationship with someone, for them to do this to me, to spend loads of money on a wedding, and then for it to not happen. It lets a lot of people down. It's a really tough position to be in. So whilst I was there kind of screaming at her, come on, you've got to get yourself out of this situation, I was also trying to be like, oh, but I understand why you're trying to push forward. So very good book. And the author, Lottie Hazel, she has studied creative literature creative writing as a PhD, and how to incorporate food into fiction. And the way she writes recipes, the way she writes about how the characters were baking or cooking, it made my mouth water. I wanted to go out immediately and buy the ingredients. I could smell what she was writing about. And yeah, absolutely. Don't read it on an empty stomach. Make sure you have snacks, because you will feel hungry reading this book. But yeah, fantastic. 100% would recommend. So those are the books that I have read, or some of the books anyway, that I have read so far this year. And I think the one that I would probably recommend the most... Oh, actually, that's difficult. Actually, I would recommend people read Piglet. I think that's kind of my number one top choice for an overall recommendation. But yeah, fantastic. All of the books are fantastic. So that is that. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I know that it has been a long time. 9 months is a long time to be away from something. But I needed some time to get my head around everything that had been happening. And it's difficult because change, whether it's good or bad, can be quite overwhelming. And even though these changes that I've experienced over the last 7 months have been incredible and life changing, I have had to take my time to process, because sometimes you have to kind of pinch yourself multiple times for it to sink in and to get used to it. And obviously, running a marathon takes time, and not running a marathon, running a half marathon takes time. And I needed some space. So we'll see how this goes. I'm happy to be here. I hope you're happy to be here. And if you want to come again, if you're not already subscribed, please like and subscribe. Keep yourself updated, even turn notifications on if you're interested. And I will definitely see you again soon. So have a beautiful day. I hope you've had a lovely Easter. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye.